A massive spaceship, HWS Invictus, moved through the cold emptiness of space, its dark metallic surface reflecting the distant light of a dying star. It was alone. No escorts, no backup, just one human warship in the most dangerous sector of the galaxy. The Exelnari Empire had warned all species this was forbidden space. Any ship entering would be destroyed without question. But humans had ignored the warning. On the bridge of Invictus, Captain Daniel Graves stood with his arms crossed, his sharp eyes fixed on the massive holographic map in front of him. His crew was silent, tense, watching as the ship moved deeper into enemy territory. "Sir, we are being scanned," Lieutenant Harper reported, her fingers dancing over the control panel. "Let them scan," Graves said, his voice calm. "They already know we're here." Seconds later, red warning lights flashed across the screen. Multiple Exelnari warships were approaching, huge, deadly, and built for destruction. A cold voice echoed through the ship's speakers. It was Exelnari Commander. "Human vessel, you are trespassing. Surrender immediately, or be annihilated." Graves didn't reply. Instead, he turned to his weapons officer. "Prepare the main cannon, but don't fire yet." The Exelnari fleet surrounded them, forming a deadly circle. There was no escape. But Graves didn't come here to escape. The screen flickered as the Exelnari commander's face appeared, a monstrous being with black eyes and skin like polished stone. "You are alone, human. Why would you enter our territory? Do you wish for death?" Graves smiled slightly. "Not today." Suddenly, Invictus sent out an energy pulse, an invisible wave that scanned the entire system. The Exelnari ships panicked. Something was wrong. "Commander, they're not attacking. They're scanning something," one of the Exelnari officers shouted. The commander's expression changed from amusement to concern. "What are you looking for, human?" Graves finally spoke. "Something you've been hiding." And then Invictus found it. Deep inside the restricted sector, beneath a dead planet's surface, a signal pulsed. Ancient. Powerful. Not Exelnari. The Exelnari fleet immediately activated their weapons. "You should not have come here, human," the commander roared. Graves ordered. A blinding beam shot from Invictus, hitting the lead Exelnari warship before it could react. The ship exploded instantly. The others opened fire, but Invictus moved like a ghost, dodging blasts, its shields absorbing deadly plasma. Inside the warship, alarms blared. The ship shook violently as it took hits, but the crew held their ground. "Captain, the artifact signal is getting stronger." Graves narrowed his eyes. They had to reach it. Full speed ahead. The ship dived toward the dead planet, dodging enemy fire. The Exelnari ships followed, determined to stop them. But humans never backed down. AS Invictus broke through the atmosphere, its scanners locked onto a massive underground structure. The source of the signal. The Exelnari commander's voice returned, desperate now. "Do not touch it. You don't understand what you're dealing with." Graves ignored him. "Launch the retrieval drones." Metallic drones shot out from the warship, racing toward the ruins. Exelnari ships tried to destroy them, but Invictus provided cover, blasting enemy fighters out of the sky. Then, a deep, ancient sound rumbled through space. The ground beneath the ruins cracked. The Exelnari ships suddenly stopped attacking. Fear filled their voices. "Human, you have doomed us all." But it was too late. From the ruins, something awakened. A massive, forgotten machine larger than any spaceship began to rise. Its dark surface shimmered, its ancient systems coming online after thousands of years. The Exelnari fleet turned and fled. The fearless conquerors of the galaxy, running for their lives. Graves watched as the ancient machine's eyes glowed red. He didn't know what it was, but he knew one thing. Humans had just changed the galaxy forever. The vast darkness of space was silent, disturbed only by the slow movement of a single warship. HWS Titan, a massive human battlecruiser, moved through the forbidden zone of the Galactic Council. It was alone, surrounded by thousands of enemy warships from different alien species. Every fleet had the same command: destroy the human warship. Do not let it pass. Inside Titan, Captain Elias Voss stood firm on the bridge, his expression calm despite the flashing red warning lights. His crew worked in silence, their hands steady over control panels. They all knew the risk. They all knew this was a suicide mission. A transmission came through. The voice of Grand Admiral Xilux, the Supreme Commander of the Galactic Council Fleet, echoed through the ship. Human Captain, your presence here is an act of war. You are alone. Surrender now, and your crew will be spared. Voss smirked and leaned forward. If I'm alone, why do you need 1,000 ships to stop me? A long pause followed. The alien fleets hesitated. Why was one ship so fearless? Then, the attack began. Bright streaks of plasma and energy beams filled space, all directed at Titan. Shields flared as the massive ship absorbed the impacts. The crew held their breath. Shields at 80%, a crew member reported. Voss didn't flinch. Return fire. The Titan roared to life. Its cannons fired beams of pure energy, cutting through enemy warships like paper. Explosions bloomed in space. Entire fleets broke formation, trying to evade the destruction. The Galactic Council had fought many wars, but they had never seen a human ship fight like this. This is impossible. Admiral Xilux growled. Increase firepower. Overwhelm them. More ships advanced. Titan twisted through the chaos, dodging, counterattacking, refusing to fall. The ship moved too fast for something its size. It wasn't just a warship. It was a challenge. Inside the Galactic Council Command Center, leaders from different species watched in horror. Why won't they surrender? One asked. Because they are human, another whispered. On Titan, alarms screamed. Captain, shields at 40%. We won't last long. Voss clenched his fists. They weren't here to win a battle. They were here for something bigger. He turned to his navigator. Are we in position? The officer nodded. Yes, Captain. Coordinates locked. Voss exhaled. Then, let's finish this. Titan suddenly changed course, moving at full speed toward a massive station floating in the center of the battle, the Galactic Command Hub, the brain of the entire Galactic Council military. Admiral Xilix's eyes widened. STOPTHEM. DONOTLATTHEMRE a CHTHEUB. But Titan was too fast. Enemy warships moved to block its path, but the ship plowed through them, weapons tearing through defenses like they were nothing. Inside Titan, the countdown began. Target locked. Fusion core primed. Voss looked at his crew. It's been an honor. The command center of the Galactic Council filled with alarms. They are going to fire. They are going to then. A blinding light consumed space. Titan's final shot struck the command hub, shattering it into 1,000,000 pieces. The Galactic Council fleet stopped firing. The battlefield went silent. The heart of the galaxy's greatest empire had just been destroyed. Titan's wreckage floated in space, broken but victorious. And across the universe, one message spread. The galaxy was. The message echoed across the entire sector, warning to all human vessels, turn back immediately. This is your final warning. But the HWS Vengeance kept moving. A lone human warship, surrounded by the cold darkness of space, heading straight into the most restricted zone in the galaxy. On the bridge, Captain Eric Connors stood tall, his sharp eyes locked onto the holographic map. His crew was tense but focused. The warning meant nothing to them. Humans didn't turn back. Lieutenant Sarah Hayes hesitated before speaking. Captain, the Excelvoran fleet is gathering ahead. Hundreds of warships. Connors didn't flinch. We expected that. Stay on course. Outside, in the distance, the Excelvoran ships waited like silent predators. Their technology was older than human civilization, their empire vast and ruthless. The screen flickered, and the alien commander appeared tall, armored, and radiating authority. His yellow eyes burned with anger. "You were warned, human." His voice was cold. "You should not have come here." Connors smirked. "Then why are you so afraid?" The commander's expression darkened. "You do not understand what you are doing." The transmission cut off. Seconds later, the enemy fleet moved. The attack began. A battle like no other. Plasma bolts and energy beams filled space. Vengeance twisted through the chaos, its shields absorbing deadly impacts. The ship fired back, tearing through enemy lines with precise, brutal efficiency. "Shields at 70%? Hayes shouted. "Hold the line," Connors commanded. A massive XL Voran dreadnought moved in, launching torpedoes. Vengeance dodged, countered, and fired its main cannon. The explosion ripped through the dreadnought, leaving nothing but burning debris. But the enemy just kept coming. "Captain, we won't last long." Connors glanced at the map. They were close. Just a little further. Then it happened. The truth beneath the darkness. A deep pulse vibrated through space. The enemy fleet stopped firing. Something ancient had awakened. A massive structure, hidden beneath the surface of a dead planet, began to rise. The XL Voran ships turned away from Vengeance, their attention now fixed on the dark, towering object emerging from the void. A weapon. A relic. A nightmare. The alien commander's voice returned, but this time it was filled with fear. "You fools, you have doomed us all." Connor's eyes narrowed. "Explain." A wave of energy shot outward, disabling every ship in its path. Selvoran warships shut down instantly. Their engines flickered, their weapons powered down. Vengeance remained untouched. The crew watched in horror as the alien fleet, so powerful just moments ago, now floated helplessly. Then the machine spoke. Not in words, but in raw power. Its systems locked onto the XL Voran fleet. Beams of pure energy ripped through their ships, vaporizing them within seconds. The Empire's greatest warships were reduced to nothing. Connors exhaled. They had triggered something unstoppable. No escape. The alien commander's final transmission came through. His face was pale, his voice hollow. "We buried it here long ago. A weapon from the First War. We swore never to wake it. You did not listen. Now, nothing can stop it." His screen went dark. His ship was gone. Connors turned to his crew. "Helm, get us out of here. Now!" Vengeance roared to life, escaping the battlefield as the ancient machine continued its silent destruction. As the ship vanished into the safety of hyperspace, Connors looked back at the burning wreckage. The warning had been ignored, and now the galaxy would suffer for it. The HWS Revenant drifted through the cold emptiness of space, silent and alone. No lights, no signals, no signs of life. It was nothing more than a dark shadow against the endless void. And yet, it was moving. Deep inside the warship, Captain James Rourke sat on the bridge, watching the enemy fleet through the dim glow of his monitors. The Yelrith Armada had surrounded them, hundreds of warships scanning the darkness, searching. They knew a human ship was out there, but they couldn't see it. Because Revenant wasn't broadcasting anything. No energy readings. No heat signatures. No movement detectable by normal sensors. It was a ghost. The enemy hunts in the dark. A cold voice echoed through the ship's speakers. The Yelrith commander had opened a channel, though he spoke into the darkness, unsure if anyone was even listening. "Human vessel, we know you are here. You cannot hide forever." Rourke didn't answer. He simply watched. Waited. Outside, the enemy fleet moved cautiously, scanning sector by sector. They fired blind shots into the void, hoping to hit something. They didn't know where to aim. Revenant had one advantage. It was built for this. A silent hunter. A ship designed to disappear in the blackness of space, undetectable until the perfect moment. The crew held their breath, waiting for the captain's signal. Then Rourke spoke. "Weapons officer, prepare the cannons." The first shot from the darkness, Revenant fired. A single, precise shot tore through an enemy destroyer, splitting it in half. Flames and debris scattered in all directions. The Yelrith fleet panicked. Their ships turned and fired blindly into the void, but they hit nothing. "Move us to the next position," Rourke ordered. Without a sound, Revenant shifted through space, leaving nothing behind but death. Another shot. Another explosion. The Yelrith commander's voice returned, more desperate now. "How? Where are you?" No answer. The human warship was everywhere and nowhere. The silent one by one, the Yelrith warships fell. They fired wildly, trying to track Revenant, but the ship was always one step ahead. A destroyer exploded. A battleship went dark. The once powerful Yelrith armada was crumbling. The enemy commander's voice returned, now trembling. "We surrender." "Stop this." Silence. Rourke leaned back in his chair, his voice cold and calm. "You came to hunt us." A long pause. Then, in a single moment, Revenant fired one last time. The Yelrith command ship exploded. The last remaining warships turned and fled, their forces broken. And just like that, Revenant disappeared back into the darkness. A silent warship in the black, waiting for its next hunt.